Hello guys, welcome to another video edition with Build with Mr. Lee. In today's tutorial, we'll still be looking on how to add authentication to our Tushy blog. By authentication, I mean our register and login page. Let us create a route here, an item here called login. Let's change the authors to login. So go to our guest.blade.php. We change the authors to login. So we come to href, put our routes, login, and for the login or for the authentication aspect of this blog, we are going to be using our Breeze authentication package. So if you have not actually installed it, you could go. I'll show you. You see the video on the screen to install how to install Breeze authentication package on your Laravel application. So once we have done with this, we refresh our page and we click on more, refresh. It's 8081. Refresh. We click on more, we click on login. So we're on the login page already. So if you don't have an account, to take you to the register page. So of course, it's the register page you are going to be using. So by default, Laravel Breeze authentication uses the email, the password, and the username field for authentication. So let's look at what we are going to be using. So I've created a page called register. On my page called register, where this form is coming from, I have the username, the email, the password, and confirm password also, then the register button. So this is actually coming from the fields that was specified in the migration files for users. So if you go to your database migration and you check on users, create users, it drops create user. So you see the name field, you see the email field, email verified at, which is nullable, and you see the password field and remember token. So you see, for the users, you have name. Like I said, this the type is string, email to the type is string, and your email is unique. It's meaning no two users can have the same email. Then email verified at, we see timestamp. We know what timestamp is, which contains date and the time that the email was verified. Then there's a new field here called nullable. Nullable means you can actually decide to fill this field or you can leave it empty. Then you have the string password and remember token. We'll not talk about this now. Then timestamp for your created that and updated that. So also the next part is to check out the controller. If you go to your app HTTP controller, if you install the Breeze package, you're going to see a folder called auth, and inside the auth you're going to see registered user controller. This is the controller that is used for registering users. The view, which returns the crate, which returns the auth register page, which returns the register page, and most importantly our store has the storing of the user's data, like the name, email, password, and this is where it is added to the table. Then also we have our model. Inside our model we have the user model. Now the user model has a fillable where you put the properties you want to add to our database table. Like I said, it is the blueprint of your tables. So you have the user table. These are the fields: email, password, and you should add, if you possibly want to add another field to your login page, you add it also in the fillable. So here are some other properties, like things you want to add to your tables. So let's delve that right in. So on the register page, you have the name, that's the username. Then you have the email, you have the password and confirm password. So let's go to the form register page. Let's look at the form on the register page. So you see the form on the register page. So one thing about the form here, you have the form, you have the action, you have the method, and let me remove this name, it's not necessary. So you have form, action, and method. So the action is more like when I submit this form, what action do I need to carry out? In this case, we want the user to be logged in. So the action here would be, if you go to your web.php, you see your route, you see auth.php. So you see a login route. So there's a route for login, which is called create, which returns a page. There's another route for login, which is the post route. So if you see the route here, the route here is post. The route here is post. The method, sorry, is post, and the login, and it uses the store method, which we've seen before. Then for the register, also you see register here, which is, we have the get and we have the second one for post. If you click on the store, you're going to see that it is storing it's creating the user here when the user registers with submit these details. So we are going to be using this route register to register our user. So instead of using hash here, we call it route register. So one other thing that is very important in when accessing forms is what we call at CSRF protection. This is used for, and it's very important to avoid being attacked. This for security reasons. That's why you need to actually add this. And another thing is the name of our form fields. So if you're putting a form field called email, the name should be email name. So our name field, the type should be text, and our name should be according to what is in the database. So if you check your database migration for users, you see that the name of the column is called name. So that should correspond to what you're adding here. So the first one is name. You remove this value field, we don't need it. The second one is email, and this is correct. And the third is password, which the name password, which is correct. This other field, although it's not in our database, but we still need it because we are going to be using it somewhere. So with that, and we have our register button. Once you click on register, these items will be submitted to the route register, and it will appear on your store as the auth.php to appear on your store function method, which is what you're seeing here. So now inside your store, there's something called the request. So you have what we call request. So your request, we're going to do something like DD, and in our DD we are going to show all our requests. Now this request field is to get those items that you're submitting from your form. So once we do DD stands for die and dump, it is going to show our request field. So let's try to log in, or let's try to register another user. So click on register. Let's call it blog. Let's call blog@gmail.com. Let's enter a password. Enter a password here. And we click on register. Now you can actually see this files being added. So your name, your email, password, your password confirmation, and subscribe is no. Then by default there is a token that they add. This actually coming from um, our Blade, our Laravel Breeze. So now request validate. The next thing is to validate if this name, email, and password was provided from the back end. So in case the front end validation which is required fails, then this should actually um, not fail. So required, ensure that it's a string, ensure the maximum value is 255. Like I said for varchar the last time, varchar takes the maximum value 255. Same thing here. Ensure it's a string, ensure it's lowercase, then ensure that it conforms with email. That means it should have at gmail and it should have .com. So and the maximum is 255. Then the unique, meaning that it should be, the email is unique, and users means there is no other users that should have this email. Once a user have this email, it should throw an error. So password required. Then this confirmed means there should be this is where your confirm password confirmation would work. Then the rules default, I think the default rules is that it should be not more than, it should not be less than 8 characters. So by default this particular rule should be applied. Then after that, it creates a user by using this word create, users create, and we have the field which is name, email, and it also uses the hash to hash our password. So it will not be stored as just these values you're seeing here, 1 2 3 4. In the database the password should be hashed. Then after that, it registers the users, it logs the users in, and it redirects the users to a um, dashboard view. So by doing this, let's remove this and let's actually refresh this page. Let's resubmit. So if everything be okay, we should be redirected to our dashboard. So voila, you've been able to log in, register a user. So now you go to your localhost, check your localhost, and on our Tushi blog, check for the users table. You see that there will be one user that has been registered called blog@gmail.com. Then now you see the hash we applied to the password. So our password is hashed, and you see the created as and updated as. By default it is using the time you logged in or you registered. So let's log out and let's work for our let's use our, let's look out for our login page. I refresh this page, I click on login. So on this blog, let me log out. So I'm logged out now. So now I want to actually work on login. So for login, we just need our email and we need our password. Once the user provides an email and a password, you should log the user in. So go to your login route, login.blade.php, and confirm the values. We are going to be removing these values, we don't need them here, but ensure that the name is email, ensure the name here is password, and we click on submit. Our action should be the route, the name of the route should be login, name of the route should be login, log in, and the method should be post. And don't forget to put that at CSROF token here for security reasons. And now let's assume the person actually added an email that is not in our database. Let's say the person put log1@gmail.com and the person puts a password that is there, and we click on login. See, it returns you to the page. Now this returning you to this page doesn't mean nothing was done. something was actually done, but what's returning you to the page is, if you go back to your app HTTP controllers, look out for authenticated section controllers. This is what handles the login. So why that is happening is because in this authenticate method, there is a particular class here called um, validation exceptions. So it checks to see in the database if there is an email. If there's an email and there's a password that matches what the user enters, then you should log the person in. But if there's no email, you throw an error message here. Now, why we are actually being redirected without seeing any error messages, because we didn't include any error message in our form. So to include this error, you use it for each loop, because the error helper by Laravel is an array. So we use for each. So we have errors all as error. There are different ways to actually add this error to your Laravel project, but this is one of the ways which I prefer using. So you alert the error and use text danger. You put the error here. So let's also include this on our register form, so that when the user tries to register and there's a validation error, he's going to see this. So now let's try logging in the user once more. Try logging in the user once more. So I put the wrong email and password. So you're going to see these credentials do not match our record. So of course the email or the password was not found. You can actually change this message though, but that will be on a later video. But now let's actually put the right email, log, and if you click on login now, user is logged in. So thank you very much for watching this video. Do well to like, subscribe, share, and drop your comments if you have any question. Also hit the notification bell to get notified when I do a new video. Thank you very much.